Good morning, all of you lovely viewers. Welcome back to another episode of Scrapheap Madness. In the previous installment, which is over on JayCheetah's channel, look at the link here, we could see how he got on modifying the craft I sent him. This was, let's have a look if we have it in the list here. Yes, the log. I sent him the log in previous episode number 1. And he had to fly this horribly off-center, off-balance contraption to one of the poles, and he managed to do it in about 4 attempts. So good on that, JayCheetah, well done. I didn't expect you to be able to do it that quickly and efficiently, to be honest. So a great job, and he made something for me in return. Now, what he made here is the vertical ascending booster VAB here. The challenge for me today is to land this on top of the VAB, a trick that's often used in videos, showcases of the KSC, and so on and so forth. The VAB is obviously this building right next to the launch pad, so the challenge here is basically to go up and then go back down and land on it. Now these 4 engines have to be firing at all times, and he told me there is a slight problem with this booster. So I can't really see it. There's 4 engines. Possibly they wouldn't be able to get any fuel. And the first and only problem I can see so far is that they are obviously pointing upward. This is a fairly light craft, so landing with the engines firing would be a little bit of a problem. Off the top of my head, I can think of 4 solutions to this. I could either add a lot of ballast that these engines wouldn't be able to lift on their own, then provide engines to lift that balance, which I would be able to shut off. Or I could mount an upside down booster to, once I get there, push us down to a landing. Alternatively, I could rig something that would drain the fuel quickly so that the fuel would run out, and then the engines would obviously not be firing anymore. Or I could do the obvious thing and land upside down. I'm inclined now to go for the reverse booster to push us onto the surface of the VAB, but before I'm going to make any changes, I'm just going to have a look how this craft flies with no modifications whatsoever. So onto the launch pad we go. And let's have a look at this conundrum. The VAB is over there, and we are over here. Now these engines look symmetrical, but they might not be. Anyway, here we are for a launch. Well, we do violated the rules there. Shut off the engines for a second. I'm obviously not allowed to do that. This is a problem. This is a problem. It controls like you wouldn't believe. Right. Bill Kerman apparently survived. So what you could see, the engines had a lot of thrust. We went up very quickly, and that was very hard to control with the engines on top there. So I am going ahead and putting in 2 changes, as is allowed by the rules. I'm thinking, oh, I should have gone back to the space, to the VAB, not the space center. I'm thinking I'm going to add a reaction wheel to get some control. Does this pod have electricity? That's the question. It does have a bit of electricity, so I don't have to add a battery. I'm going to add the inline reaction wheel here on top. That should maybe be able to control this a bit. And let's go ahead with the reverse booster plan. Turn this upside down so that as soon as we're over the VAB, we may enable this booster to land us. I think that's a good plan. So I'm going to save that, and yes, it's in the next stage, and launch that again. Now I'm going to disable the mission controller plugin, because that's again going to pop up messages about recycling and whatnot all the time, which is annoying. So bear with me while I do this. Disable the plugin, save and close. Bam. So here we are. It's looking better already. Not going to go for full throttle, I hope that's allowed at least, and we are going to see if we can't this to now I see what he did. Oh, that is devilish. Right. this craft does not have any problems with control, none at all, none whatsoever. But what happened is that the lander is upside down. So the controls are basically inverted. This is terrible. Or they might not even be inverted, they might be 90-degree rotated. So that is quite horrendous. What I need then is absolutely expert control. Let's take a normal pod, a lander can, and see what the differences are, if there are any. If we even can see the difference. This is quite a symmetrical pod. Right, so I'm not going to do any modifications. I'm just going to go back to the launch pad and see if I can work out how these control axes go. Because if I can't control the craft, then any modifications, that's not going to help. So let's have a look at the in-vehicle building. Hey, look at that. No, this looks right side up. So I don't understand what's going on. When I try to go left, it does not go left. So here, let's go for another test flight. Going to get some altitude going before I'm going to try and steer. If I tap the A key, is it just incredibly unstable? How is it so unstable? It does turn left, but then it immediately starts gyrating every which way. JayCheetah did tell me there were some problems with the design. Evidently this is one of them. And I don't know how or why this is. This is a problem. This is a problem. I'm going to try and add more stabilization, some wings, as much as it will fit here. And I don't understand why this is happening. This is a problem in fixing it. This nose cone part here, a protective rocket nose, a large nose cone for covering up exposed area of big rockets. This is heavy. Maybe it's Ferrum Aerospace messing about with the aerodynamics of a nose cone on the bottom, but I don't think so. It shouldn't be a problem. Anyway, this is my one modification here, and I'm going to add some more. I'm going to add a fuel tank underneath. I think I'm going to need to lengthen this. No, I'm going to add a small engine. I'm going to add a small engine here at the top, at the bottom of this aerodynamic nose cone. I'm not sure if that's going to be fuel cross-feed capable, and if not, I'm going to have to run a fuel line on my next modification. It doesn't even want to sit here, so I should probably add a docking port first. This is what I learned from JayCheetah himself, that if you put a docking port, you can put... Oh, this is a large docking port, that you can put other stuff on that docking port. No problems. So, just in preparation of the next modification, this is going to have a docking port here, so that if need be, we can add some ballast to make this flyable. Because that's what I think is going to be needed. So save it and let's go. We are not quite... Oh, I think I disabled the plugin, but I'm not quite ready to land on the VAB yet in this configuration. No sir. So plugin is disabled, but that recycling stuff is just going to keep on happening, I think. Right, so test launch, I don't know how many, Hurka Skirman in it. What? Are you telling me it's suddenly not heavy, not strong enough anymore to lift it? I have no idea what's going on. Here, this is our landing thruster. That looks great. Parachutes. Yes, here we go. Deploy the other parachutes. Now we have the problem that our engines don't have enough power to lift this thing, which I find really strange because the original lifted off just fine. Anyway, what we have proven is that under a parachute assisted launch, this thing will land. This is important. And a full burning engine. How is this not lifting anything anymore? Is it because there is a wing underneath that just this thrust doesn't count anymore or anything? I'm going to see if that's what's up. According to the rules, I'm not allowed to remove those parts. But I'm finding it completely strange that these engines appear to have zero thrust now. So I'm going to take these wings. No, I'm going to take just the wings and put them like this. And if now the engine does have thrust, then a lot will have been cleared up at any rate, because this is very strange. This is very strange indeed. Let's launch this now. We are going far faster. I think that's what was happening. The wings were right underneath these engines, somehow invalidating the thrust from these four engines. I'm not sure how that even should work. And it turns out that because of that, all my modifications are basically very, very silly now. This extra booster probably wasn't quite needed. We are heading off in the wrong direction now though. Fire up the engine and going to deploy some parachutes. Well, some things happened, at least. Yes, I'm still confident in this method. With the parachutes, we should be able to make a somewhat controlled landing. Well, I say I'm confident, but I'm not really steering anywhere. Maybe if I increase the thrust, I can make this happen. No, this is not steering anywhere. This isn't going anywhere. Well, here we are going somewhere. Right. So as long as we can get over the VAB with this, the parachute should provide a decent landing. I'm just going to try that again. I don't feel that any craft alterations I'm going to make will be of any use at all. So I'm going to launch at not full throttle, because apparently now that these top engines are working again, we can ditch that stage and leave it behind. Now reduce thrust here. We are going over the VAB and deploy the parachutes. Deploy these parachutes and now increase the thrust again. This has a chance of succeeding. Deploying the landing legs just in case. And now making for that VAB. No, 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 no. We're going to have to go the other way. Yes, that way. That way. Due north. Reducing thrust so that we might be upright. Yes. No. Okay, so instead we are going to attempt a landing here. See if the SRB design even works. First we have more parachutes. And as soon as we touch down, we can use the engines to touch down more. Now we're going to fire the SRB. No, this doesn't work. This doesn't work at all. Right, so I am going to revert to the VAB, add way more control wheels. As soon as we can, when we have more control wheels, we will have more control. That is a rule I have just decided. At least we got close. And at least we got close. Let's go with two-way symmetry if it doesn't want to do three-way. And add the two control wheels. So that's two modifications down, and here we go. Because as soon as we can control this, we will be able to land it. And whether or not we have to fire that ground attaching solid rocket booster, that's a question for later generations to answer. So here we go. Up a little bit. Maybe the electric charge is running out quickly now, but hey, we have more control. And then if anything, we might have to add some parachutes. Some batteries to it. We have all the parachutes we need. So we're going to come in for a braking maneuver. Gee, this might actually work. How's that? We are dropping already. Let's add some more thrust. And we can ditch this now. Ooh, so that ballast is very necessary. Anyway, we can just do this. Deploy the landing legs, lower the thrust, and there we are, standing. Firing the SRB just to solidify our position on the ground. Wow, this works! Now we can fully thrust. Wow, this is amazing. So we can throttle down these engines to a low amount. And as long as this SRB is firing, we are landed. This is what we're looking for on top of the VAB. This is what we're looking for, definitely. So, or next order of business. Oh, no, the burning out of the ballast stage didn't cause our crash. The running out of our electricity. So all we need to do now is add a bunch of batteries. This is something we can definitely do. Just ditch that. Maybe I shouldn't ditch that, but oh no, this is what happened. Two of these engines are not producing thrust anymore because there's something under it. This is apparently the new rule of rocketry. is that if I shut down this engine? Yeah, nothing happens. So that is very annoying. That makes cheating almost inevitable in a mission like this. So I'm going to go ahead and try to land it. And it also explains why this craft is less than maneuverable, because it has 2 engines instead of 4. So once again I'm going to try and land it. I will do so. And also I have it means I have unsymmetrical control actuation, so these are going to be cheat moved to somewhere else where I can actually utilize them. If I'm over the spot where I want to be, this craft is great at landing. Look at it, bam, lands. Again, the landing is beautiful. So I'm moving to the VAB building, and hey, at least we learned something. If you put anything beneath a radial engine so that the exhaust hits it, it doesn't count anymore. So I'm going to make that change. I will put the reaction wheels. No, I added it 2 times symmetry. 2 times symmetry. Please let me put it at 2 times symmetry. Here we go. Just put it on the door. And hopefully sitting between those engines is not a problem. So I hope this doesn't count as cheating, but I thought these 4 engines have to be firing, so if they're firing but not producing any thrust, then maybe that would be cheating. Anyway, off we go again. This time again in control of the craft, angling towards the VAB. Well, I say angling towards the VAB, we are sloppily making our way there. The trick, I think, is to not to try and have too much control, because you really can't with a craft like this. You can't have too much control. I'm going to gently this way. This is quite assuredly the wrong direction to go in. Yeah, I'm not in any sort of control now. No, none at all. We can put the parachutes and the SRB just to make sure that we are doing something. This is great. This will moderate my downwards velocity. I can go up or I can go down. This is exactly what we want for the landing, but we want it at the VAB, not here. This is fun, isn't it? Ah, landed. There we are. How can I make this better? How can I make this better? I'm going to attempt to go straight up a little bit again, and then just come down in the direction of the VAB. Maybe that is easier. Come up here, we have some speed, and we gently angle a little bit in the direction of the VAB, and then angle back into the sky again. I'm not talking because this is super exciting. I need to get a little bit north. Deploying the parachutes just to be sure. Oh no. Go on. Move in the direction of that stupid VAB. I have again completely lost all control. I should try rotating it. Full thrust. Full thrust doesn't do anything, and we're almost out of thrust at any rate. So Still, these SRB powered landings are my favorite bit. This just looks good. We landed, but we didn't do so on the VAB. I'm going to try this again. Revert to flight. Revert to launch. Another 2 minutes. This is going to be a long video like this, man. I think I'm going to put it in 2 parts, or fast forward through the bits where the engines weren't. I'm going to try something else now, going straight up, and then while we have some velocity, no, we need to make our change with minimal thrust, because minimal thrust is all that we can maintain stability of. Yes, this is what we need, minimal thrust, so that the reaction wheels can compensate. We can't go over about 25% thrust. That means that we need to get some altitude going before making for the VAB. Oh no, turning it off isn't allowed. Sorry. Abort. Increase the thrust and deploy the parachutes. You can see the debris hitting everything beneath us. Low thrust, and perhaps we can have control, and then high thrust to activate in that direction. No. Low thrust. Right. So we have a plan. We have a plan. Launch the SRB to land. This is always a good plan. Maybe we can use that as well, because this will give us does this give us a lot of control authority? It doesn't. Right, I'm going to try now, as soon as we lose the control, to activate that SRB, because that made things seem very stable at least. Right. So the plan is to go up high, then make adjustments using a low amount of thrust, and as soon as we're close, we are going to enable that SRB and use it to come in for a controlled landing. Sound good? I think so. Oh, that was a little bit ambitious on the thrust. I'm not sure why I did that. There's no need to. Low thrust, keep it pointing straight. We're going to need a little bit of movement in this direction. We are falling, and that isn't going to go. Low thrust, parachutes just in case, all of them. We shouldn't be going too fast when these parachutes explode. Well, they're not going to explode, they're going to deploy. And we lost our landing legs, but still, if we can manage to land with this bit, I'm calling it as successful if this ends up working. Thrust. Oh, we are so stable now. That loss of landing legs might have been the best thing that ever happened to this device. No, just don't have. I shouldn't fuck it up. So, lowest thrust we can muster. A little bit of 90 degrees movement. Just a blip of thrust there. Reducing that. And I think we are going to make it this time, if our thrust doesn't run out, that is. But if we run out of fuel over the VAB, that is not a problem, because we have the parachutes. So that should be alright. And these reaction wheels, they are just wonderfully controlling this small craft. So that is great. Yes, a little bit more to the east. And we are going to land exactly on that H for helipad. It's not quite a helicopter that's coming in for landing now, but it's close enough. It's close enough. So, now that we are almost landed, we can launch our SRB to make sure we are secure. Here we go. This. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! The fuel ran out in the tanks, thus causing the SRB to crashes down onto the roof of the VAB. There's not a lot left of the craft, but the hatch is obstructed. He can't exit. Oh, we can detach that. Decouple the node. Oh, he's probably still going to have an obstructed hatch. No, he's locked inside forever. But he is on top of the VAB. I'm calling this a success. Sure. The landing legs are gone. The whole craft is gone. But the capsule, LCAS Kerman, is on top of the VAB. He can't step out and plant a flag. No, he can't. But that doesn't matter. Mission accomplished. Yay. So now it's up to us to design something or other for our good friend JayCheetah. I still don't know why that thing he made was so horrendously uncontrollable. I do know I messed it up more than I helped it. Many of these changes were not quite necessary. Anyway, we're going to quickly make something because this is a super long video already, and we're running out of time. Well, I'm not, but you get what I mean. We are going to make a completely normal rocket. A completely normal rocket with one slight problem. It is going to be a little bit off-center. Not off-center, it's going to be a little bit banana-shaped. We're going to make a banana-shaped rocket, yes. How do I do that? How do I make a banana-shaped rocket? That's a good question. I'm sure no rocket engineer has ever wondered about that. Is this something I can attach fuel tanks to in a crooked fashion? No. The game doesn't seem to want to make a horribly crooked rocket. It doesn't seem to want to. Well, that's well enough. Let's not do that then. Let's instead. Oh, I wanted to make a crooked rocket. Maybe I can do it with a girder. Can girders be crooked? Yes. We can make fuel tanks on this girder. This is allowed. We will make this symmetrical, so that will at least help a bit. And then we can make the banana rocket using this. Why? Why doesn't it want to do that? I want to gently change its orientation. I can do it when attaching it sideways. Well, this looks a bit like a banana rocket. So we're going to put an engine. We're going to put an engine. I'm not going to give you the gimbaling engine this time. Here we go. This is an engine. And I'm not sure if the fuel lines run. And to finish off the banana aspect of that rocket, of course we need the other side to be completely different than this one. This is 1, 2, 3. This is as much fuel, but it is going to have a bigger engine. It is going to have, well, the mainsail would probably be pushing it. It is going to have a skipper engine, yes. and it will have a booster pointing sideways here. And well, let's put that in symmetry mode, otherwise that's crazy. No, let's put that on this one for added confusion. So this one gets to go away. And let's strut these boosters to the main stack, because I don't think they're going to hold on by themselves. There we go. Let's see how this works out. Let's see how this works out. Let's see how this works out exactly. Going to put launch clamps on it. Just 2 of them. And some launch clamps here so that it may stand. Right, launching everything at once. And we can call it the LSD-1 for accurately representing what the rocket engineers must have been on. Oh, I'm forgetting one very important aspect of the rocket. These boosters must of course incur rotation, otherwise it's not that much fun. So they must be like, no, they must be like that. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And let's now put the struts again. Here we go. Bam. This looks great. This looks absolutely great. Let's put some more struts here because I don't want it falling apart right at the beginning. Bam. Here we go. Launch this rocket. So everything at once. That sounds like a great plan. See what happens if I launch this. Yes, this immediately crashes. Great. I don't want it to immediately crash, because that's just not fun. It needs to go up in the air a bit. It needs to go up into the air a bit. So I'm going to ask to add some fuel, a small amount of fuel. So we can't be giving out free fuel. And this is gonna have a mainsail. Yes. Everything at once. Everything at once. This is a great beginning. Wow, so it's even going up somewhat. This is already a stable rocket, are you kidding me? Well, not quite, maybe. Rocket powered landing, sure thing. Right. So, the objective for this wonderful craft is to simply get it to space. I think that should be a challenge. Additionally, the rules are quite relaxed. 2 modifications per attempt. Obviously cannot remove any of these amazing parts that are already in place. And you're free to set up the staging whichever way you want. But the rule is all of these parts, all of these engines have to have fired before you reach the objective. So before you get to space, all of this has to have fired. Good luck with that. And with that, I'm going to sign off. This video has been very long already. I'm going to see if I can cut that down a little bit in editing. Anyway, thanks for watching. I had a lot of fun. Hope you had too. If you did, make sure to subscribe, like, and share it with your friends. For now, as always, head over to JayCheetah's channel to see the next video, see how he gets on with this LSD-1 contraption. Once again, thanks for watching. This was Lorenzo. Goodbye.